Hey there, YouTubers, right? So, checking out the BIOS. I will tell you, don't know everything about everything in this BIOS. It's different than the ones that I deal with in the desktop world. So we will, plan on just basically showing the menu. I may talk about some things, may not talk about them. If I don't talk about it, it probably means I don't know that much about that section. So to get into the BIOS, hit the delete key as it starts up, and you should get in here. If you somehow miss it, reboot the computer, or restart, and then keep hitting that delete key, and you should end up in here. When you first come into the BIOS, you're going to end up in this main menu. It's a place you can change the time, change the date, provides the BIOS version. So we may do a BIOS update video at some point. And then you see all this other information. It tells you what the CPU is. So this is the i3 Intel 11th Gen i3-1115G4. Running, I guess, turboing up to 3 gigahertz, and the memory capacity is 8 gigs. That is something that you cannot upgrade on this computer. All right. Now, interesting thing about this BIOS, normally I use a capture card, but you cannot actually get the HDMI to work inside the BIOS. It'll work when you're in Windows, but I can't get it to export here, which I need it to do. To get into the capture card. Now, moving around in here, you'll find the mouse pad doesn't work, so you have to use your arrows. Okay, so let's take a look at the advanced settings. And just to start off, here is one section don't know anything about. So take a look quick. We're going to move on. Connectivity configuration. You see what's in here. And you can move the mouse down, and over here on the right it will provide you some information. I'm not going to bore you guys with reading everything. CPU configuration. So you can see the size of the cache here. Probably the only place you're going to find it. I don't even know if it's on the internet anywhere. Not very impressive for L3 cache. At least compared to a desktop processor. Hyper-threading, so if you want to disable or enable that. Alright. Power and performance. CPU power management levels. You will see if you want to change the power limits, I believe that is under here. I could be wrong. Wrong menu. Under this menu. Now I haven't messed with how much you can adjust them. I'd be concerned with cooling of this CPU, so I have not messed with that, but potentially able to get your multi-core benchmarks up if you come in here and change those. CPU VR settings. So you may have to pause your screen. Alright, let's check out GT Power Management Control. PCIe configuration. IMR. Nothing in there. I'll spare you guys from these menus. Firmware update. Maybe I won't. Maybe we will go through these. So there was something there. I just saw that crypto driver version available. Okay, that has nothing to do with it. Moving on to thermal configuration, CPU thermal configuration. So you can see they've got all these trip points on here. It's all dynamic tuning technology. Platform settings. So on this computer, can't upgrade the RAM. It's soldered to the motherboard. And you also can only use SATA M.2s on it. So can't get it any faster by using a 3rd or 4th gen NVMe M.2. And not that it's that bad. If you're coming from a hard drive to SATA M.2, you'd be pretty happy. Trusted computing. So somewhere in here there was, TPM 2.0. So this is a TPM 2.0 device, which obviously means that it will work with Windows 11. That smart settings. And I didn't bother with SATA because there's no SATA hard drives in this thing. USB configuration, should be able to disable these, I would think, in here somewhere if you wanted to. It's a whole lot of stuff you just can't do anything with. So you see NVMe configuration, there is nothing there, and even if you install one, you're not going to see it. Alright, so let's move over to chipset menu. Memory configuration. So it looks like the RAM is running at 3200 megahertz. So that at least is nice that they did not stick you with a bunch of slower RAM soldered to the motherboard. Graphics information. Now this would be a place, it would be nice if you could boost this. I tried to run Fortnite on this thing, I think at the lowest possible settings. And I have an i5 version of this with the Iris graphics, and it's still a dog, but select PCIe card, not going to be able to do that. External graphics card, primary display. So you could get one of those boxes, I imagine. This does have, I don't know if it's Thunderbolt, but it has a Type-C connector on it, and you need Thunderbolt to do the external graphics card. Display setup menu, nothing. Amazing how there's a whole lot of nothing in this computer, or the BIOS. So the first two menus, not even worth talking about. USB configuration, security configuration, HD audio, THC, over to security. So if you wanted to add a administrator password, you could do that here. I do have 2 SATA drives in this. Here's the boot. So whatever reason, we have USB hard disk is the first option. This is the actual hard drive. And then you don't see the other option on here. to change this, you would come in here and grab this. Okay, so that is now shown as the first thing. Sometimes not bad to keep the USB first if it's the right one, just because you could potentially boot to a thumb drive or the restore drive, but I'm going to set it back to that hard drive. I had to use the USB drive to get it going again from the recovery disk. So here is the save and exit menu, and you can see boot override. So we've got a couple of drives shown. This is the first one is the one that came with this. This is an additional 240 gig, I believe. There you go, folks. I'm going to save changes and exit. Thanks for checking out the BIOS. Please like, please subscribe.